folks, my next guest used to beat people up with furniture for a living, and now he's written a book telling you how to do it. Joining me, the author of Undisputed, How to Become the World Champion in 1,372 Easy Steps, Jericho!
Nice! Yeah! Yeah!
Welcome back, sir.
Nice to be here.
How are you?
I'm doing great, man. I'm doing great.
Yeah. Kudos on the book, man. It's I know it's selling like hotcakes.
New York Times bestseller.
Look at you.
I'm now a two-time New York Times bestselling author, which means I'm smart.
yes, you've arrived. Do you get a placard? Do you get a card?
I need a pipe and an ascot.
Close enough. I think we can get you a brandy sipper.
And like a ring, like a World Series ring for best selling authors.
There's no belt
or no ribbon.
Trophy?
No, not the trophy.
You've got enough belts, man.
I do.
Do you have a belt closet? Where do you keep? Do you get to keep the belts?
The thing is, you're not allowed to say belt anymore. The Vince McMahon verdict is their titles or championship belts.
Wow.
So when you say belt, it's very offensive to me. It's almost like Vince is going to yell at us. Don't say belt. Don't say belt. So, but the thing is,
I'd like to ask you, coming out of the WWE, is there like post-traumatic McMahon disorder? Like, are you actually in fear that Vince might be hiding behind a plasma right here and then pop out and give you the Santino?
It's like you're a prisoner of war, and when you get out of the war camp, you're just scared. You're looking for the guy to give you scraps. Yeah, I mean, working for Vince he's a genius, but as all geniuses, he's a little bit of a lunatic. But and that's actually what Undisputed deals with. When my first book, A Lion's Tale, was kind of all these trials and tribulations I went through to get to the WWE, which was my ultimate goal. And then once I got there, the dream was more of a nightmare. It was like I realized it was completely not ready for it. And then all these kind of tricks and traps I went through with my boss, who was telling me basically that I was terrible. About 9 weeks in, he took me in his office, and I thought he was going to give me a pat on the back. And he said, "You're the drizzling you're green as grass. You're not worth the paper your contract is printed on." So it was a nice little pep talk.
But he was swaddling you, right? The entire time. He was just letting you know.
He was washing my feet. Yeah.
I mean, because you went in there. I mean, you had built up a name for yourself, to say the least, in WCW. You went into WWE. You thought clear. I mean, your first appearance was with The Rock, right?
Yeah,
you get to interrupt The Rock. Yeah. So you must go in there with some sort of chip on your shoulder, thinking, "All right, I've arrived. This is it."
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, and like I said,
then you got beat down.
Then realizing that I had to really hit the ground running and reinvent myself and kind of reevaluate who I was as a performer. But I mean, I had 9 years of experience to be able to do that, so it took a while. But I mean, here I am, 2011, and accomplished all I had. So it was a little bit of a rocky road, but it made for a great story in the book.
Absolutely, incredible tale. Did you almost quit 1,000 times, or was that not an option?
No, because it wasn't an option, because it took so much time to get here. To hell with quitting. I mean, if I had to eat crow for the entire year and a half or whatever it was, I was happy to do it because I knew I could do it.
To be like a performer, like on TV or a host or movie or whatever, you have to have glaring insecurities and ego issues. And then I talk with fighters and other athletes, and there's no denying that wrestling is incredibly athletic. That you guys are putting your bodies through the ringer every time you're out there. To do that, I heard you have to have daddy issues, and a piece of your brain has to be broken to want to put your body through that. So to be a wrestling superstar, to do something so physical and so performance-driven, how shattered do you have to be? Like, what is the neuroses?
Completely shattered. Yeah, parental issues. I was actually
I mean, putting up with the protein farts in the locker room must be alone.
Horrible. It's very traumatic. I was actually left in a Target by my parents when I was 4, and left to fend for myself. But I mean, one of the reasons why I was always able to get ahead in wrestling, because when I started, I was small. It was 1990. It was all about the 6'8" giant guys. But I always treated wrestling as show business. For me, it was all about show business, because when I was a kid, all I wanted to do was be a wrestler and be in a rock and roll band. Those are my 2 dreams. So when I started wrestling, it's like, I can't be the biggest guy physically, but I can have the biggest personality, the biggest charisma. So I didn't want to be Hulk Hogan or Ricky Steamboat. I wanted to be the Paul Stanley of wrestling, the David Lee Roth, the party host. And that's kind of what led me through, and it helped me to get up the ranks, because I always had a little way to connect with the crowd. Because that's part of show business, whether it's wrestling or music or acting. You have to connect with the people that you're performing for.
Like, even if you're being the heel, you want the boos from the crowd.
Absolutely.
That's what you're going to thrive on.
Exactly.
That's what you're going for.
You want them to be booing, because that's your version of cheers. It's like winning an Oscar if people are telling you suck.
I convince myself that every time I walk the red carpet and hear nothing but jeers. I'm like, cool. Yeah. I'll be your heel. Whatever.
I like when you walk the red carpet too, and you can tell they don't know who you are, but they've taken the pictures. They obviously just have the flash bulb on. They're not actually taking pictures. Just flash, 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 flash. Thank you.
There's a guy with a flashlight just flicking it on and off for me as he's going through the photos of real celebs.
Yeah, totally.
But so you said you had two dreams. Obviously, you achieved one, no question. You're the world champ. Then when you transition into music, did you expect that, hey, I'm going to have this following, I'm going to be iTunes #1, I'm taking Bieber down the moment I strum a guitar, or did you know you would have to work your way up?
Nobody can take Bieber down.
I'm telling you.
I just want to tell you that.
The next WrestleMania, if you
I'm
just
from
give him a
Canada, so
clothesline.
he's like a demigod there.
Really?
It's like Justin Bieber and Geddy Lee are like running the country now. Well, yeah, I never had any problems with like starting at the bottom for anything that I've done. And the thing is, because I did it in wrestling, when Fozzy took off in '99, I didn't expect to be like, oh, we're going to sell 1 million records. And so that's another interesting dichotomy about the book, is that here I am performing in front of, you know, tens of thousands of people at Madison Square Garden one night, and the next night working at, you know, the Tribeca Rock Club in front of 55 people with my band, but still having the same passion for both. And then seeing the band grow the same way that Chris Jericho, the wrestler, grew 10 years earlier, you know, and now it's like, you know, we're playing festivals around the world and doing all this great touring and all this stuff, 5 albums in. So it really, I was crazy enough to have 2 of these dreams and foolhardy enough to go for it. But I guess the bottom line of both my books is like to get sappy, play sappy music. If you have a dream, you can make it come true.
So right here, one more time. One more time, right in there.
Like this,
yeah, because we're out of time. We're out of time, right in here.
If you have
Tell
a
the
dream,
kids.
you too can make it come true. Because the only people that are going to tell you can't do something.
No, that won't fit in a
are the ones
tweet.
that fail.
That won't fit in a tweet. You went too long. It's just got to be dream, make it true.
It'd be the TI tweet where it's like too much information. It goes to the line.
Chris, it's an excellent read.
Thanks,
and congrats on our
Thank you
success,
very
man. You're a hell of a
Yes,
guy.
thank you.
Chris Jericho, everybody. The book is actually everywhere now. You can probably download it, read it, or do whatever you kids do with the
Steal
text.
it, whatever you want.